What if the clearest sign you're waking up is happening in your skin, your breath, your sleep? We usually picture awakening as a light bulb in the mind, an insight, a new philosophy, a sudden shift in worldview. But the deeper truth is more unsettling and more intimate. Real awakening recruits the whole organism. It doesn't just alter what you think. It changes what you can tolerate, how you rest, how you digest, how you feel time moving. And if you don't expect that, the body's signals can feel like a warning siren. For centuries we've been trained into a split, spirit up here, body down there. The body becomes a container, a vehicle, a disposable shell. Spirituality becomes an interior hobby, ideas, beliefs, states. Yet that story is built on the very separation awakening begins to undo. You aren't a passenger riding inside a machine. You are a single psychophysical field, sensation and meaning, nerve and attention, chemistry and consciousness braided together. So when awareness intensifies, the wiring cannot remain the same. And here is the first surprising question. If your attention becomes brighter, where does that brightness go? It goes through the nervous system. It moves through hormones, breath, muscle tone, digestion. It asks the organism to carry more presence without collapsing into stress. That's why awakening so often arrives with sensations you can't think your way out of. Many people notice a strange energetic reshuffling. Heat surges like a tide and then vanishes. Cold ripples travel through the arms. A fizzing vibration appears along the spine, or under the skin, or behind the forehead. Pressure can build at the crown, the chest, the solar plexus, like the body is trying to open a doorway from the inside. This isn't made up. It's the felt side of real physiological change. The autonomic system recalibrating, the endocrine system shifting, the senses becoming more alive. Old traditions gave these sensations names: Kundalini, Chi, Prana. Poetic maps for experiences that are unmistakably physical. You don't have to accept every mythic explanation to respect the data of your own body. A modern metaphor might help. It's like renovating an old building to support a stronger current. You can't plug a high-powered device into fragile, outdated circuits and expect nothing to spark. The system must be upgraded. During that upgrade, things flicker. Now, as sensitivity increases, the second big shift often appears in the most ordinary place, your plate. Foods you ate for years can suddenly feel heavy, dull, or irritating. Alcohol may start tasting like fog. Highly processed meals can leave you drained, anxious, or nauseous. And here's the part that confuses people. It's not a moral decision. Your body chooses before your mind can justify it. It becomes selective, almost protective. Why? Because a refined nervous system doesn't like interference. It wants clean input. Have you ever noticed how some substances don't just affect your mood, they affect your clarity? Awakening amplifies that. The organism develops a kind of quiet discrimination, below conscious argument. One day you simply can't tolerate what used to be normal, and you don't even know when the change happened. Sleep is the next battlefield. Some people suddenly need less, as if rest becomes more efficient. Others swing the other way. Exhaustion, long naps, a craving to retreat. Many report waking in the middle of the night with an odd surplus of energy. No panic, no drama, just wakefulness buzzing through the limbs. What's going on? The system is processing. The mind used to burn energy through worry and rumination. As that dissolves, energy becomes available, and the body doesn't yet know how to distribute it. Dreams can turn vivid, symbolic, almost instructional. You may remember them more clearly because the boundary between waking and sleeping softens. Consciousness isn't off at night, it's simply unnoticed. When awareness sharpens, you begin to witness what was always there. And sometimes, those dreams carry emotional releases you didn't permit yourself during the day. Breath changes too, quietly, but profoundly. You might catch yourself breathing slower and deeper without trying. Or during intense moments, the breath becomes quick, like panting, as if the body is venting pressure. Breath is not only oxygen delivery, it is a lever between voluntary and involuntary life. It's the bridge between thought and tissue. So when consciousness shifts, breath often shifts first. Here's a question worth sitting with. What if your spiritual state is measurable by how you breathe when nobody is watching? Specific zones can become intense. The top of the head may feel like pressure, tingling, expansion, sometimes described as an opening. The chest may feel warm, stretched, or aching. This can be frightening if you interpret it as illness. And to be clear, if you suspect a medical issue, get evaluated. Practical wisdom matters, but many people experience these sensations alongside normal medical results. In that case, the body may be expressing a deeper change. The heart center learning to hold more connection, more compassion, more truth. Your body can't lie the way your thoughts can. But let's make this even clearer with a framework, because vague spirituality creates unnecessary fear. Think of awakening as a shift from chronic contraction to conscious regulation. For years, many people live in a low-grade fight or flight. The mind is scanning for threat. The jaw is tight. The shoulders are lifted. The belly is broad. You may function, even succeed, while living in that tension. Then a deep insight arrives, sometimes through meditation, crisis, loss, love, or sheer exhaustion, and the system begins to unwind. What was held down starts to rise. Notice the pattern. Awakening doesn't always create brand new experiences. It often reveals what you've been avoiding. So ask yourself gently, what has my body been whispering for years that I refuse to hear? Is why sensitivity can feel like a curse at first. Noise becomes louder. Crowds feel heavy. Certain conversations drain you. Your tolerance for shallow stimulation drops. Even music can hit differently, either more piercing or more profound. Some people become oddly sensitive to smell, to chemical fragrances, to smoke, to stale air. And when your senses sharpen, your environment matters more than ever. You are no longer buffered by numbness. The world comes in raw. Here is another question. If your nervous system is becoming more honest, why would it continue to tolerate dishonest living? Many also report changes in appetite timing rather than just food preference. You may wake hungry in the morning for the first time in years, or you may feel naturally drawn to eating earlier, lighter dinners, fewer late-night snacks. Digestion can become a teacher. When you eat in a way that dulls you, you feel it quickly. When you eat in a way that supports clarity, you feel that too. The feedback loop tightens. And that can be uncomfortable because it removes your ability to escape consequences for long. Hydration becomes surprisingly important. During energetic shifts, people often underestimate how much water and minerals the body needs. Tingling, headaches, and fatigue can be amplified by dehydration. Again, this is not mystical, it's physiological. If you are pushing a higher current through the system, conductivity matters. Some experience NCE, a new relationship with the gut. The stomach can tighten when you lie. The belly can relax when you tell the truth. That isn't superstition. The gut and brain are deeply linked through the vagus nerve. When you become more coherent, the gut becomes more coherent, and vice versa. So if your stomach is reacting to certain people or situations, don't dismiss it. Ask what your body recognizes that your mind is trying to rationalize away. Now, let's talk about fear, because fear is the most common misunderstanding during awakening. A surge of energy in the spine can be interpreted as danger. Pressure in the head can be interpreted as catastrophe. A wave of emotion can be interpreted as I'm falling apart. The mind's job is to label, and when it lacks a map, it chooses the scariest label available. That's why education matters. A good map doesn't make the terrain easy, but it keeps you from panicking on the trail. At the same time, do not romanticize symptoms. Awakening is not a competition of strange experiences. The goal isn't to collect sensations. The goal is to become free. So if you notice yourself chasing fireworks, more energy, more intensity, pause. The most mature awakening often looks quiet, steady attention, honest living, simple kindness, clear perception. One domain almost never discussed is the social body. As your sensitivity increases, relationships can reorganize. Certain friendships may feel misaligned, not because anyone is bad, but because the energy of pretense becomes intolerable. You might crave fewer people, deeper conversations. Small talk can feel exhausting. You may find yourself withdrawing, not out of depression, but out of a need for integration. And that withdrawal can frighten you or others. So here's a practical question. Can you explain your need for space without turning it into rejection? When you do speak, you may notice you need words. There is less urge to persuade, more desire to be precise. That's another reason the voice changes. It's not performance, it's alignment. Vision can shift in surprising ways. Colors look richer, light seems cleaner, the world appears sharper, not because your eyes magically changed, but because the mind's filter thins. You stop coating perception with constant labeling. Some also become more sensitive to artificial lighting and screens, which can feel harsh. It's the same theme again, recalibration towards subtlety. And then emotions. Sometimes awakening turns the volume up. Tears arrive without warning. Laughter breaks through years of tension. Joy and grief feel enormous. That's not losing control, that's thawing. Armor melts. The body had been storing what the personality couldn't face. As it releases, feeling returns. Other times the opposite happens, emotions become spacious. The peaks and crashes flatten, not numbness, steadiness. The feeling arises, moves, and passes, without hijacking the whole identity. That quality has a name in many traditions, equanimity. It's not the absence of emotion, it's freedom inside emotion. Time perception can become strange. Minutes can feel wide, like rooms you can walk around in. Or weeks vanish quickly, as if life is flowing without friction. This isn't imagination alone. It reflects a shift in attention, less obsession with past and future, more contact with the immediate. When thought stops constantly measuring time, time feels different. Boundaries can blur. You may feel space around the body like an invisible halo, or you may have moments where inside and outside seem less separate, as if the world is touching you from within. That can sound like madness to a materialist mindset, but it can also be a more accurate perception of how porous reality is. Skin is a membrane, not a wall. Experience is an exchange, not a sealed container. Now we come to a difficult part, discomfort. Some people move through phases of fatigue, headaches, tension, random aches, symptoms with no obvious cause. In certain lineages, this is called a purification or a healing crisis. Another way to say it, unresolved stress patterns rise to be metabolized. Trauma isn't only a story in the mind, it's also held in posture, breath, muscle guarding, gut function. When awakening loosens the old defenses, what was buried can surface. The impulse is to fight it, to suppress, medicate, distract, label it as wrong. Sometimes treatment is needed, again, use common sense. But sometimes the most skillful move is gentleness, rest, hydration, quiet walks, less stimulation, honest support. The body is doing work you cannot rush. As sensitivity returns, pleasure changes too. A simple meal becomes a symphony of taste. Warm water on the skin becomes almost sacred. Sunlight feels like nourishment. And pain, when it arises, can be experienced differently. Before, pain was sensation plus fear plus narrative. After, it can become mostly sensation, intense, but less psychologically multiplied. That difference is enormous. Pain is sensation. Suffering is the story you add. Sexual energy often shifts. For some, Desire quiets for a time because energy is being redirected into transformation. For others, desire intensifies but becomes more conscious, less compulsive, more connected. Many traditions speak of refining creative energy, lifting it from impulse into presence. That can be misunderstood, but the core insight is simple. Libido is life force. When awakening reorders priorities, that force may find new channels. Movement can change. You may feel more coordinated, less stiff, more fluid, because awareness inhabits the body instead of hovering in the head. Some experience spontaneous shaking, stretching, trembling, or unusual gestu raised during meditation. In yogic language, these are kriyas, automatic releases. They can look strange, but often they're simply the organism discharging old tension and reorganizing patterns of holding. If it happens, stay grounded, slow breathing, gentle posture, a safe environment. Immune function can shift too. Some people notice chronic issues improving as stress decreases and sleep deepens. Others hit temporary vulnerable periods, catching colds more easily while the body cleans house. Either way, the pattern is the same, the organism is adapting. Sometimes you may experience sudden waves of sadness with no story attached. This confuses people because modern culture believes emotions must be justified by a narrative. But the body can process grief that predates your current life circumstances. It can release sorrow you inherited, absorbed, or suppressed. You don't always need to know why to allow it to pass. Can you let sadness be a cleansing rain instead of a courtroom evidence exhibit? You may also notice a new intolerance for certain media, violent content, frantic editing, constant outrage. It doesn't just upset you, it agitates your physiology. Awakening makes you see the cost of what you consume, not only in the mind, but in the body. A simple checkpoint. After an hour with a person or habit, do you feel open or contracted? The answer is often more honest than your ideology. We should also mention the afterglow phenomenon. After a deep meditative session or a breakthrough moment, you may feel light, clear, spacious. Then later, you may crash, fatigue, irritability, a need to sleep. This can be the nervous system integrating a new level of intensity. It's like recovering after a workout. Growth requires rest. If you assume you should stay high all the time, you will judge yourself unnecessarily. And finally, there is humility. The body teaches humility because T has its own timeline. You cannot bully your cells into awakening. You can cooperate, you can support, you can listen, but you cannot force. That cooperation is the real practice. So when you feel the surges, the sensitivities, the odd sleep, the emotional waves, try this orientation, not what's wrong with me, but what is reorganizing in me. That subtle shift changes everything. So what do all these changes point to? Not that you're broken, not that you're going crazy. They point to a deeper truth. Consciousness is embodied. The body isn't a disposable container. It's awareness expressed as form. Breath, bone, blood, nerve, sensation. When awareness awakens, the form adjusts to match it. It learns to carry more truth without flinching. If you're in the middle of this and the sensations feel confusing, remember, transformation can be loud. Be patient. Reduce what agitates your system. Choose what supports clarity. And keep one principle close: respect the body's intelligence. It has been keeping your secrets for years, and now it is releasing them. If this helped you make sense of what you're feeling, take a second to like this video and tell me in the comments which change surprised you most: sleep, food, breath, or emotion?